All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to Coach Cheney's Gallery interview number 3. And today we're joined by 2005 Hartland grad Robert McCarthy. Robert, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and this is kind of catch up with you after all these years, almost 20 now. 2005 grad, 2024. Think back, it doesn't seem that long ago, but this is
Yeah.
it. So, a little
Blink of an
background on
eye.
you. Well, actually, give us a little bit. When did you start wrestling?
So I started back in fifth grade. In fact, one of the good friends, still in touch with today, came up to me in the hall at Lakes Elementary and Ball Energy Harrison Hellner and said, "Hey man, what are you doing this winter?" And I said, "I don't know. I played basketball last winter. Wasn't very good. I would get the ball and dribble down the court and shoot a air ball three every time, and it was just not good." So he's like, "Yeah, you should try wrestling. I bet you'd be pretty good at it." So started in fifth grade and then did the whole club thing, and then middle school, and then right on up to high school. So
Yeah, and a bunch of success in high school. Probably two of the biggest moments I thought, and maybe even in Heartland history and dual meet wise, that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But a couple times state qualifier, finished third your senior year, and then after that, tell us where you went.
yep, after high school, I went down to UNC Chapel Hill and I wrestled for 4 years there. And then the fifth year was kind of stayed around as in like a coaching position. And then I graduated in May of 2010 with a degree in history. And I started teaching in August of 2010 in North Carolina at Northern Vance High School. And I was the head wrestling coach there for 2 years. And then after that, I made my way up to Northern Virginia and Fairfax County. And the reason I made my way up there is a teammate of mine, Ben Fiacco. He married a track star at Carolina, and she was from the Northern Virginia area. And so he had moved up here with her, and then he just called me and said, "Hey, we have teaching positions open here in the alternative schools in Fairfax County. So if you're interested, let me know, and I can hook you up, with an interview, job, yada yada." So I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So my girlfriend, wife now at the time, we moved up, and we both got teaching jobs in an alternative school program, and then I also um, applied for a head wrestling coach position at Woodson High School, and this is all in Fairfax County. And so uh, I would do the alternative schools during the day, teach there, and then go to Woodson in the afternoon for practice. So I guess for the Hartland crowd, it'd be like maybe teaching at Legacy for the day and then going to Hartland High School for practice. So I was not in the same school where I was coaching. But I did that for 10 years. And then we moved in June of 2022. We moved out a little bit further away from DC to Manassas. That's where we currently are now. We've been here for 2 years. And the reason we moved a little bit further away in DC, the further away you get, the more bang for your buck you get for housing and yada yada. And we were trying to start a family, which we did successfully. We have a little girl now. She's almost 8 months. And so I stepped down. We moved out here, and I've been helping at the local high school here in Manassas for the past 2 years. So
Got it. So, experience at North Carolina. Pretty cool that you got that. Not many people can say that they were a D1 wrestler for 4 years. And walk us through how that came about.
a little bit of luck, I guess. I went in there, my credentials compared to my teammates one fantastic, but I feel like I held my own. I would say I was a much better practice wrestler than I was an actual game time wrestler, which is a shame, which is a bummer, but is what it is. But I had a great time. I met really really good people, and some of the roommates that were also my teammates. We still try to get together at least once a summer. And in fact, I one year I did room with a Davison guy, Keenan Duffy, and that was my sophomore year. His freshman year, we stayed together, and again, still keep in touch with Keenan. And he actually was doing stonework for a while up in Michigan. I think he did the stonework on my parents' house in Hartland and hooked him up with a nice deal. So just a small world. Rest community is fantastic. So
Yeah, so when you were going through high school was kind of the change when Hartland really got put on the map. I think you were a freshman, let's see, '05 grad, so what, '02, '03, '04, '05. So '02 made it to team state, and then '03 made it to team state, but 4 and 5 we kind of broke through, and I think you might have had the match that changed that for us. We lost in the quarterfinals 4 times, and in our semifinal match against Clarkston, a kid that had beaten you in the past, you end up hitting him in a lat drop and dragging him back on the mat and getting the fall, and kind of a cool moment, really a huge moment in Heartland wrestling history. And I think that video just got posted a couple weeks ago. And so if you haven't seen that, take a peek. It's great flashback there, taking us to the state championship match.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely got a chance to look at that, and it's pretty neat. I felt like I was probably getting dang tired wrestling. I was shoot, get tired, and then I just, luckily for me, I guess, fell into that and got the pin because yeah, I don't know, just looked like I was getting a little bit tired, but yeah, but that was fun. And speaking of, 2002, 2003, when we were kind of coming along, uh, you know, I don't think I would have gotten to that point my junior year if it wasn't for me my freshman year going in shark bait groups with Mark Nelson and Steve Steckeroff and them just beating the living daylights out of me. But just trying to hang in there. And even my sophomore year wrestling with Drew every day was helped me get to that point. So there was definitely lumps taken along the way to be able to get to that point. So I just thank those people that that kind of helped me progress, got me a little bit better. So
And that's always been fun for us, is to watch the young guys be put in a group of 3 or 4 with those guys and just see what happens and see how you guys progress over the time. And I think between your sophomore and junior year, we were messing around a little bit with that lateral drop, that little throw that uh, we were talking about. And I think Levi Dine was the kid's name. Funny that his initials are LD for lateral drop and Levi Dine, but he was in the NHSCA finals, senior nationals, and hit that. And so we saw it and we're like, hey, Robert, try this. And we had the crash mats at that time in the new wrestling room, because you got to see the change from having to roll out mats every day in the old high school to coming into the new high school and not having to do that and getting those extra things like crash mats and pull-up bars and the things that we never had at the old high school. And I think we probably threw each other on those crash mats a couple hundred times. And then that move came back again later on in your senior year.
yeah, yeah. And I think going to sophomore to the junior year, we also had Nick Sage attended Hartland. I think he was from Linden originally, but then came over to Hartland. And I remember he was big into the Ken Chertow camp. And I think that with the crash mats, they were big on. We learned a lot of those throws there in Pennsylvania at those camps. And I think that, that summer, Henderson, Harrison, myself, and Nick, us 4 went there and learned a lot. And I think maybe that throw was kind of around that time. So yes, and then in my senior year again, kind of got lucky, was get my butt kicked by Jacob Wyatt, and then with your clip is 15 seconds left, I just felt I needed to do something. There's still time on the clock, nothing to lose, so just hit it, and kind of like we would practice all the time on the crash mats, worked, and that was
Yeah,
pretty neat.
it was really cool. And the sad part is that you and Jacob Wyatt, we thought, hey, that might be a final because you knocked off Chittick the week before. And then both of you ended up losing early and had to wrestle each other in the consolation semis. And he was undefeated before that. So he had a
Yeah,
loss and dropped down to you. And you're down by 5 and on bottom with 15 seconds left, escape, throw them, win by 1. So a lot of fun.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
fun.
absolutely, yeah.
And then a lot of people don't know your third place match. You actually beat the defending state champ for third and fourth.
Yes,
Churchill
Manny
kid.
Manny Schubert, yes. And I think he actually went to Lehigh.
Yep.
And funny, and actually Trevor Chin was a Lehigh wrestler, and then I don't know if he coached at Lehigh or he ended up in Chapel Hill when I was there, and we kind of connected. Oh, I know Manny Schubert. Yeah, I wrestled him in third, fourth match at the state tournament. No way. So wrestling's a small world. Just feel like you're, what is that, six degrees of separation or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Or the
Whatever
Kevin
that,
Bacon, whatever they
however
call
that
it.
Yeah, however that goes. Yeah, you're connected. You're closer than you think with someone related to the wrestling in the wrestling community.
Yeah. So if you had to look back at it and think about maybe your greatest memory or greatest moment in Heartland wrestling history, what do you think that would be?
Practice or competition? Both.
Either one, whatever stands out. Maybe one from each.
I've got a lot from. I remember. Like I had mentioned, those guys beat me up when I was younger. But I remember one time my sophomore year, I was cutting weight a little bit, and this might have all been in the same practice. We had just gotten beat by Clarkston, actually good, and you guys were pissed at us, and you put us through a grinder practice. I was cutting weight down to 52 that year, and I don't. We had some warm up, but it was not a traditional warm up. I felt already exhausted. And I remember jogging in a circle, and Brian Mann kind of left next to me. He was jogging with me and said, "Yeah, I only have 2 more months left of this. You have 2 more years." And I was like, "Yeah, dang, I know." Anyway, the practice was. I think I ended up wrestling with Pfeiffer, and he just beat the crap out of me. And then afterwards, he pulled me aside and just said, "Look, if you keep working how you work today, you are going to be a state champion by the time you graduate." So that was just one of those things that always kind of stuck with me and from the practice time. And then competition, I don't know if there's really a set. I mean, kind of the throws, sure, at the team state the junior year, and then individual state my senior year. It's always cool. But then the assembly duels, that was unreal experience wrestling. I was a head coach for 10 years, and we had moms and dads in the stands if we were lucky, and that was about it. So just to be put in that kind of environment and be able to compete and wrestle in that was pretty neat, and really blessed and fortunate to be able to say I was able to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. Those were fun. A lot of work on a coach's end, but a lot of fun for the wrestlers. Yeah, for me, the your groups that 0405 will always be special. One, because we made that transition from the old high school to the new, and it just saved us so much time. It just seemed like the stress level dropped, and I won't say that that's the reason why we made the state finals, but really I think that our approach to things changed, and once we moved into the new building, we made the state finals. And I guess our gift in the state finals was a team that had three future NCAA national champs on it, in Metcalf, Reeder, and Donahoe. So who knows? But it was awesome getting there that first time. And then the next year we did it again. So back to back state finals appearances for our team.
Yes, and I remember because I was there. I went freshman year. I didn't wrestle though. I was just watching. Sophomore year, I think we wrestled Grand Ledge maybe in the quarters and lost. And then yeah, it just felt different being able to be there Saturday morning and actually warming up and wrestling and competing that day, which is pretty neat. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
there's a pretty funny one on there if you get a chance to watch it. Our '03 regional, team regional. I don't know if you remember this, but we're at the Pinckney tournament that year. So 2002 Pinckney tournament, and we got beat, and we were 3-8 at the time. So we went to Michigan duels and got destroyed, and
Yeah.
then went to Pinckney, and we had just lost. And some kid on our team, and I don't remember who it was, said, "When we make it to team state, I want to get this on our shirts." And I about snapped and started screaming and said, "If we make it to team state, you can shave my head." And I was totally just saying it to say it. And we win 20 the next 21. And there I am on the mat getting my head shaved. So that's posted on there at the end of that video with Brian Arnett, who obviously Brian passed away, which is sad, but some good memories of Brian from that video.
So that reminds me when I was the head coach. So I started off at Woodson, and I think my first year we had 10, maybe 12 kids total. I had one parent come to meet the coach night. They do that here in Fairfax. But we built and built and built. And by 2017, I felt like our team was all right. We were pretty good. We had a decent lineup up and down. And there was probably 6 or 8 teams in our division, our little conference. And we hadn't won that thing in over 20 years. So I told the kids, it's like, this year, we're actually capable of doing this. So I stole a page out of your book. I said, hey, a little extra juice, a little extra motivation. If we win the district tournament this year, I'll let you guys shave my head. And sure enough, it was the tournament was on Friday, I think. And so they did great. They wrestled awesome. We won by a decent amount. It was pretty neat. And the next morning I got them up and we did a workout, and then they got to do the head shaving there. So my assistant and I. So yeah, I don't know the extra motivation, whatever, but yeah, that was, I think, the first time in my life I've had a shaved head. So
Yeah,
it was
mine
worth
was a
it.
little, yeah, definitely worth it. A little odd, but definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that group, you said you still are in contact with some of those 03 to 06 guys, probably.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how well. Harrison's probably the one I contact the most. I'm not really on Facebook, or I mean, I'm on X now, but again, I don't really post too much on there. So I'd say probably Harrison was really the only one I sadly talked to from those guys. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think I think it would be neat if you do some more of these interviews with some of the other guys. It would just be interesting to see the lineage of how am I trying to say this? So what Steve Steckeroff and Mark Nelson and Drew Hellner did to me, who did I have that influence on? Maybe
Right.
Steckeroff, Sean, and then who did Sean pass that on to, and kind of have those, what do you, just hammers where they bring those young kids up, and they get them kind of acclimated to successful high school wrestling. And so,
Well, there you go. Maybe that'll be a leading question. What older Heartland wrestlers had the biggest impact on you? And obviously, you already told yours.
yeah,
So
well, and it would
good.
just be neat to see the lineage kind of over time there of just that connection. And oh yeah, and it kind of just strings along.
Yeah, and it's funny when
Probably your, however, the 30 or 29 years you were coaching, there's going to be someone right along there.
and we would discuss the eras of wrestling. Hey, that ended. This is when they came in. This is that group, and it's kind of
Yeah.
funny to look back and see that. So
Well, and that was the nice thing about Hartland, and the thing that you built there was you had kids there that were able to, you put them in a group and just bring those freshmen, sophomores up to that level. And it was almost like a well-oiled machine, like clockwork every year. And again, when I was coaching, I did a whole different 180 from that, in a good way. But yeah, it was really neat to be a part of something special like that, because looking here and being a head coach from, let's say, the team that was leaving at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon from the tournaments because we didn't have anyone placing, or we got beat real quick. We were done for the day and going home. It's remarkable to see how you had that and created that success over the years, and it just kept going and going and going and going. So
well, it was a lot of
kudos.
fun for sure, and you were a big part of it. So it's been awesome catching up. And obviously, if you might not know because you're not on Facebook, we do have an alumni page there now that I've been trying to invite everybody to, and that's where I've been posting all these videos as well as my YouTube page. So trying to bring all of these past memories back for everybody to be able to go and look whenever they want and show their families and friends.
Yeah, and it might help me reconnect a little bit with some of the other guys on the team there. It'd be good for me. So,
All right, buddy. Well, hey, great. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk soon.
all right, thank you.